everybody. This is Maundy, Thursday. This is April the 6th, 2023. April the 6th. And we're coming up on Good Friday tomorrow. And then Easter Sunday. And we just had Palm Sunday. We just had the celebration of Palm Sunday on this past Sunday. So this is Thursday. And this is traditionally known as Maundy Thursday. And AJ and Stephen and I will be celebrating together as a family. I went out and made sure. Now, we don't drink wine in our house. We don't have we don't drink alcohol in our family. We don't buy alcohol. And I'm not criticizing anybody that responsibly drinks beer or wine. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that for our own family, we do not use alcoholic beverages. And most churches use grape juice.
But some use wine.
Some churches use wine, yes. So anyway, I made sure that we had some grape juice, and yes, we had just regular white sliced bread. Stephen's like, well, why do we have to have this kind of bread? Because it looks, well, actually, to tell you the truth, I told him a lie, not on purpose, but I said, well, I bought this bread because it looks more legitimate than just a piece of white sliced bread. But the bread that they actually used in Jesus' day was flat. It was like a flat bread. So I kind of told a lie, not intentionally. But anyway, just to make something very special for tonight, I bought these loaves of bread because I wanted to show the brokenness, how Jesus broke his body. His body was broken for us, see? But actually, the most legitimate is like a flat bread. They had like an unleavened. It was unleavened bread, which means that it didn't rise. So this would not be biblically accurate. So, actually a tortilla, if I had thought about it. And we have plenty of tortillas in the house because we like to eat tacos and Mexican food. So we make burritos and tacos. So a flat tortilla would have been actually more accurate than a European style bread roll. So I was wrong on that because it was the feast of the unleavened bread, which the unleavened means flat, no yeast. So I bought the wrong kind of bread, but I just didn't want to use regular bread. I wanted something special. But anyway, so I have the not Welch's, but Ocean Spray cranberry. No, not cranberry, but grape juice and bread, and we will be celebrating tonight as a family. Now, I wanted to draw your attention to this. I was trying to explain to AJ what Maundy means, and I like how it says, no, Maundy Thursday is not a typo for Monday. Maundy is not a typo for Maundy Thursday. Okay, Maundy Thursday is also known as Holy Thursday and Sheer Thursday, among other names, is a Christian holy day that commemorates the events known as the washing of the feet and the Last Supper. This day is part of the Holy Week leading up to Easter. Maundy Thursday comes after Holy Wednesday and is followed immediately by Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and then Easter Sunday. And these occasions in Christianity correspond to the events that lead to the resurrection of Christ after his crucifixion. All right, so what does the word Maundy mean, and where does it come from? So on its own, the word Maundy means the ceremony of washing the feet of the poor, especially commemorating Jesus' washing of his disciples' feet on Maundy Thursday. recorded around 1250 or 1300. The word Maundy comes from the Old French word Maundy, M-A-N-D-E. The Old French Maundy, in turn from the Latin mandatum, which means mandate or command. And as you may have guessed, this Latin word is the source of the English mandate. The specific mandate or command at hand refers to the words of Jesus, is believed to have spoken after washing the feet of his disciples during the Last Supper. In the New King James Version of the Gospel of John, chapter 13, verse 34, Jesus said, "A new commandment I give you, that you love one another, even as I have loved you, that you also love one another." New commandment in the Latin of the Vulgate is novum mantuum. And
that sounds good.
What was washing of the feet? So during the Last Supper, Jesus washed the feet of his 12 disciples as they shared their final meal. The meaning of washing feet is layered. It's said that in the ancient world, a host would offer water for guests to wash their feet, sandals being the footwear of the day. So washing feet is a sign of hospitality, of welcoming and care. It is also an act of humility. As it said, servants often washed feet. The Son of God, as Christians believe Jesus is, doing something so lowly. Christians have come to interpret Jesus' washing of the feet as an illustration of humble mission of service. The act has also come to symbolize the cleansing of sin from his fellow Christians, and so Jesus' new commandment was urging his disciples to show forgiveness to all. Today, this act is frequently reenacted among other occasions during Maundy Thursday services, with priests washing the feet of their parishioners. Okay, so there's where the word Maundy comes from, about feet washing, mandate. Maundy turns from the Latin mandatum, which means mandate or command. So a lot of times people think that, I love how this starts out. It says, no, Maundy Thursday is not a typo for Monday Thursday. So I love that. So in John 13, Jesus washes the disciples' feet. Now, before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour had come, that he should depart from this world to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. And supper being ended, the devil having already put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, rose from supper and laid aside his garments, took a towel and girded himself. After that he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet and to wipe them with a towel which he was girded. Then he came to Simon Peter, and Peter said to him, "Lord, are you washing my feet?" Jesus answered and said to him, "What I am doing you do not understand now, but you will know after this." And Peter said to him, "You shall never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "If I do not wash you, you have no part in me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." And Jesus said to him, "He who is bathed needs only to wash his feet, but is completely clean, and you are clean, but not all of you." For he knew who would betray him, therefore he said, "You are not all clean." So when he had washed their feet, taken his garments, and sat down again, he said to them, Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher, You call me teacher and Lord, and you say, well, for I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Most assuredly I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is he who is sent greater than he who sent him. If you know these things, blessed are you if you do them. And so he gives them the command to wash each other's feet. And Jesus identifies his betrayer. I do not speak concerning all of you. I know whom I have chosen, but that the scripture may be fulfilled. He who eats bread with me has lifted up his heel against me. Now I tell you before it comes, that when it does come to pass, you may believe that I am he. Most assuredly I say to you, he who receives whomever I send receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. When Jesus had said these things, he was troubled in spirit and testified and said, most assuredly I say to you, one of you will betray me. Then the disciples looked at one another, perplexed about whom he had spoken. Now there was leaning on Jesus' bosom one of his disciples whom Jesus loved. That's John. Simon Peter therefore motioned to him to ask who it was of whom he spoke. Then leaning back on Jesus' breast, he said to him, Lord, who is it? Jesus answered, it is he to whom I shall give a piece of bread when I have dipped it. And having dipped the bread, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. Now after the piece of bread, Satan entered him. Then Jesus said to him, what you do, do quickly. But no one at the table knew for what reason he said this to him. For some thought, because Judas had the money box, that Jesus had said to him, buy those things that we need for the feast, or that he should give something to the poor. Having received the piece of bread, he then went out immediately, and it was night. Okay. So then it gets into the new commandment, and then Jesus predicts Peter's denial. Let's see here. Then we get into the whole betrayal of Jesus and Peter's denial of Jesus. And Jesus is questioned by the high priest. Pilate's court. Taking the place of Barabbas. The mockery of Jesus. Pilate's decision. I think I'm going to go ahead and go to Matthew 1 real quick. Okay, I am now reading from Matthew. I'm now reading from Matthew 26. We have here the plot to kill Jesus, the anointing at Bethany. Judas agrees to betray Jesus. And we're going to move here with this Passover. So Jesus celebrates Passover with his disciples. And again, this is from Matthew 26. Now, on the first day of the feast of the unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying to him, where do you want us to prepare for you to eat the Passover? And he said, go into the city to a certain man and say to him, the teachers say, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples. So the disciples did as Jesus had directed them, and they prepared the Passover. And when evening had come, he sat down with the 12. Now as they were eating, he said, assuredly I say to you, one of you will betray me. And they were exceedingly sorrowful, and each of them began to say to him, Lord, is it I? He answered and said, He who dipped his hand with me in the dish will betray me. The Son of Man indeed goes just as it is written of him. But woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been good for that man if he had not been born. Then Judas, who was betraying him, answered and said, Rabbi, is it I? And he said, You have said it. Okay, here we are. Jesus institutes the Lord's Supper. And as they were eating, Jesus took bread, blessed it, and broke it, and gave it to the disciples and said, Take, eat, this is my body. Then he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink from it, all of you, for this is my blood of the new covenant, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say to you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine from now on until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. And then it gets into the Peter's denial. And so all of these things happen on the Thursday night. The Garden of Gethsemane, where he went out into the Garden of Gethsemane, and to the betrayal and the arrest of Gethsemane. And then when he's handed over to Pontius Pilate, and then look over here, you have Judas hangs himself. So this all happened before Good Friday. Jesus faces Pilate, taking the place of Barabbas. The soldiers mock Jesus. So then we're getting into the Good Friday here. So tomorrow will be our Good Friday lesson. So where Jesus dies on the cross. That will be our lesson for tomorrow for Good Friday. So, again tonight, AJ and I and Stephen will be partaking of this grape juice and this bread that's not unleavened bread. It's not unleavened. But you get the idea. We're going to celebrate as a family. So, I trust that you all enjoy... Oh! Are you making it flat? Stephen just pressed it and made it flat. Anyway, I hope you all are celebrating Maundy Thursday with your family. Good night, everybody.